The little girl sat in her wheelchair at the edge of the bakery, her hands trembling as she counted the wrinkled bills and loose coins on her lap, knowing even before she finished counting that it would not be enough. Outside, the sky was bright and full of life, but inside her chest everything felt heavy, like the world itself had leaned down and placed its weight on her heart. It was her birthday, 12 years old, and she had exactly $3. That was all. No presents waiting at home, no friends gathering around a table, no balloons or candles. Just $3 and the hope that maybe, just maybe, it would buy her a small cake, something sweet enough to make the day feel real, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet miracles that happen between strangers. Take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps keep stories like this alive. Her name was Lily. She had not always been in the wheelchair. Once, she had been the fastest runner in her class, the one who won races on field day, the one who laughed the loudest during recess. Then came the accident on a rainy afternoon when her mother's car slid through an intersection and into the side of a delivery truck. Her mother survived. Lily did not walk again. The doctors said the damage to her spine was permanent, that miracles were rare, and that hope should be realistic. But hope is not something a child understands how to make realistic. Lily carried it anyway, even when it hurt. Her father had died years before from an illness that drained everything they had, and after the accident, Lily's mother worked 2 jobs just to keep food on the table and the lights on. Birthdays became quiet days. Holidays became ordinary days. The world had not been cruel on purpose, but it had been heavy, and sometimes that felt the same. Lily had saved the $3 over months, a quarter from returning bottles, 50 cents from helping a neighbor fold laundry, $1 from finding loose change under couch cushions. Every coin went into a jar that she labeled birthday. She imagined a cake with pink frosting, maybe strawberries on top, maybe her name written in messy letters. She imagined blowing out candles while her mother clapped. She imagined feeling like every other kid for a few minutes. The bakery smelled like sugar and warmth and everything she wanted. Behind the glass were cakes that looked like dreams. Tall ones, chocolate ones. Ones with roses made of frosting and tiny glittering sprinkles that caught the light. Lily wheeled closer to the counter and pushed the money forward with a hopeful smile that had learned to hide disappointment before it arrived. The woman behind the counter looked at the money, then at the cakes, then at Lily. Her face softened in a way that made Lily's chest tighten. She gently shook her head and slid the money back. The smallest cake, she explained, cost $7. Even the cupcakes were $4. Lily nodded quickly and said it was okay, even though it wasn't. She thanked the woman and turned her chair toward the door, her eyes stinging, her throat tight, telling herself she was being silly because it was just a cake and she was not a baby. She told herself that her mother would hug her later and that would be enough. But the ache inside her was louder than her thoughts. And that was when the man at the corner table stood up. He was in his early 30s, wearing worn jeans and a faded jacket, with the tired posture of someone who carried responsibility the way others carried backpacks. His name was Daniel. He was a single father. His wife had passed 2 years earlier from cancer, leaving him alone with a 6-year-old son named Noah, and a life that felt permanently unfinished. He worked construction, long hours, sore muscles, quiet evenings. He had come into the bakery to buy bread and a cheap cupcake for Noah, who had been good all week at school. Daniel saw the girl's hands shaking as she turned away. He saw the money. He saw the way her shoulders slumped. He knew that look. He had worn it himself when the hospital bills piled up and the fridge went empty and the world kept moving like nothing had happened. Without thinking, he walked over. He asked the woman behind the counter for the biggest chocolate cake they had, the one with strawberries, the one with real candles, the one with Lily's name written in pink frosting. He paid for it. Then he bought a box of cupcakes, too, and a small stuffed bear from the shelf near the register. He rolled the cake toward Lily and gently placed the bear in her lap. The girl stared at it like it might disappear if she blinked. Daniel told her it was her birthday cake now. He told her that some days the world chooses you for kindness. He told her that today was her day. Lily did not cry. She did not scream. She simply looked up at him, her face soft and stunned and glowing in a way that no bakery light could create, and for the first time in a long time, she felt chosen. Her mother arrived 10 minutes later, breathless from work, worried when Lily was not home yet. She found her daughter sitting in the bakery, the table crowded with cake and candles and cupcakes, a stranger beside her with a small boy swinging his legs from a chair. When she learned what had happened, she covered her mouth and cried the way people cry when something finally breaks open inside them. That afternoon they all sat together. They shared cake. They laughed. For 2 hours the world stopped being heavy, and none of them knew that this moment, this small act, was about to change their lives. Because kindness does not end where it begins. It moves. Over the next weeks, Daniel and Lily's mother began to talk, sometimes about practical things, sometimes about nothing. He fixed the broken step at their apartment. She cooked extra soup and sent it home with him. Noah and Lily became best friends. Slowly, quietly, something like a family formed where broken pieces fit together better than anyone expected. But life is not a straight line. Lily's condition worsened that winter. Medical bills returned. Her mother collapsed at work one evening from exhaustion and stress. Daniel took Lily and Noah to the hospital while her mother lay pale under bright lights, tubes in her arm, eyes closed. He held Lily's hand as she whispered that she was scared. Daniel made a decision that night. He sold his old truck. He took a second job on weekends. He covered their rent for 3 months. He did not tell anyone. He just did it. Spring came with hope. Lily began physical therapy. The doctors were cautious, but something was happening. Tiny movements in her toes, slight tension in muscles that had been silent for years. No one promised anything, but Lily began to believe in miracles again. Months passed. One afternoon, Lily stood up for the first time with support. Her knees shook. Her breath caught. Her mother cried so hard the therapist had to hold her. The first step came later, then another, then another. A year after that birthday, Lily walked into the same bakery on her own feet. She carried a small cake with pink frosting. It had Daniel's name written across the top. She found him there, tired and older, with lines at his eyes, but still carrying the same quiet strength. She placed the cake on the table and hugged him, standing tall, unsteady but free. Before this story ends, please comment one word that describes how this story made you feel. Near the end of the afternoon, Lily, her mother, Daniel, and Noah sat together again, just like before. Only this time, Lily stood while blowing out the candles, and as the smoke curled upward, Daniel realized something had healed inside him too, not from medicine, not from time, but from love that had returned in an unexpected form. If this story touched your heart even a little, please like the video, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to this channel. Your support keeps these stories alive for others who may be struggling in silence. Sometimes a life changes not from a miracle in a hospital, but from a stranger who notices $3 on a counter and decides to care. And sometimes that is enough to begin again.